Nepalma, it's very hierarchy. Sorbane, G. I don't know. In some way, it's good because it's a respect.
Yeah.
But I realized that, like, साथीहरुले त कहिल्यै सर भनेन नि when you're like, even if you're an old guy or whatever, right? But even at work, like I realized that the breaking that ice,
yeah.
अलिकति आफूभन्दा अलिकति senior भएपछि they tend not to like express themselves. And I'm a creative environment, like you want to be able to just say what's in your mind.
What happens in the US? American culture मा चाहिँ मलाई मन पर्ने कुरा चाहिँ एउटा अर्को मन पर्ने कुरा चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि त्यहाँ चाहिँ जतिसुकै उमेर होस् मतलब छैन फर्स्ट नामले बोलाउँछ कि.
Yeah, you can meet Bill Gates, say hi Bill, right? Here
Bill Dai.
Bill Dai. Here if you call him Bill Dai, he'll be very honored, you know?
Imagine calling Bill Gates Bill G.
Yeah, Bill G. But if you call him Bill Sir, he'll be like, wait a minute. Bill G might find it very interesting for you.
Bill G, No, let's get started. I really want to thank you for your time, and again, thank you for inviting me to your office the other day, showing me around, and it was a pleasure. And thank you very much for coming over to the studio.
Thanks. I was your second time, right? First time I think you were when you were in Sanipur or somewhere.
Pani Pokhariमा. 2007 हो कि 8 मलाई याद छैन 2007 कि 8 त्यतिखेर आउँदाखेरि पनि मैले त्यस्तो अफिस देखेको थिएन. You had a brilliant office. It was open थियो के हजुरको अफिस ओपन थियो. त्यतिखेर मैले त्यस्तो अफिसहरु नेपालमा खासै देखेको थिएन हैन. ओपन थियो अनि computers, people working on it. Somebody was creating some kind of animation हुन्छ नि त्यतिखेर नै 2008 मा. I hadn't even started working in the media then. And I told you I came with,
yeah. So at 2008, what were you doing?
I was working in a call center in 2008.
Yes.
And I had come over. It was very unique. And Asti when I came, and thank you very much for inviting. It was really a very different experience. It's a very creative place.
Yeah.
When you showed me around, somebody was working on this, somebody was working on something else. The room was really dark.
But that's not how it started, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, when you came, we were already a little bit set up, right?
Yeah.
When we first set it up, like it was like 20 artists. I'm to East Ko Bank Thani, Salma. So we took in the top floor. Yeah. It was Siddhanta was the CEO, and he had the bank. He had a spare space upstairs, so we took that. We had 20 people. And my God, like the first few months was really hard, in the sense that the things that I expected, like which was to be able to train these artists to do stuff like that went really smooth. The culture was the hard part. Yeah? We'll gather in a conference room to brainstorm ideas or discuss. So what I ended up doing was right across 2 minutes walk was Imagude. I would take them like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the Imagade Peterko room where they have sometimes display like painting. So we booked that place on Tianga, coffee and some brownies. And then all of a sudden people start like, you have to basically say, hey, uli bol raha action pakna. And then I realized, yeah, your culture is story. When you're in an office, they think of it as formal. The moment you step out of it, it's informal. And then Nepal are like informal environment where, they love to talk.
Yeah.
So that's how we started. Like 3-4 weeks, we'd just go there. And then when we go back, we move back to the meetings to happen in the studio, and things started like really clicking.
That's really nice.
That's my amazing experience.
That's really nice. That's really fantastic. I want to tell everybody that Kiran co-owns a fantastic studio. It's called Incessant Rain. It's an animation studio. I just want to let everybody know that. And is it one of the first in Nepal? Nepalko pohilai animation studio?
Yeah, I think so. Pohila, there was actually the way the animation started was there was a bunch of guys, Kirti. There were a few people that got trained by I think UN Bana. And they were trying to do a project called Meena, that later on went to Bangladesh, and and Meena character was really popular.
Meena cartoon?
Yeah. Yeah, so they were actually trained in Czechoslovakia. They took like 8 or 9 Nepalese artists in Czechoslovakia, and they got trained for like 3 months and came back. And so they were doing some stuff like this. But they were like all a little bit here and there. And then so when I came here, there were like some animation academies, like Transcube, and they were setting up things, and that's where I put the team together. So it's a very unique experience. I was still working at Disney.
Yeah.
And I used to come here like every 4 or 5 years for vacation, meet my friends, family. And then one year I came.
Somebody had passed or something, right?
Yeah. So, but before that, before I actually came to the studio to Nepal to set up the studio, I used to come, and then and somebody found out that I worked at Disney, and they had me interviewed in Kantipur. What's his name? I'm like in podcast, I'm blanking out. He's still, I think, in Kantipur TV. Suraj.
Sam Suraj, right?
Oh, Suraj, yeah. So he interviewed me, and then that kicked off like some Himalayan Times and all, and that's when first time people in Nepal realized that there's somebody working at in Disney Studio.
Wow.
And त्यसले गरेर, and that I was here for like 3 weeks, and I was getting calls, and त्यसले गरेर I got called to this animation academy called Transcube.
Transcube.
Yeah. So that's where I went and met some artists, and then I left. And then in 2007 fall is when I first came here. And I told you I came here not to set up the studio.
Yeah.
But my brother-in-law had passed away.
Yeah.
And he was married to Sami Joshi, who was anchor woman in Nepal. Radio Nepal, not Nepal TV. So I'd come for the funeral, and then I brought my nephew and niece when they're small. And then when they left, my friend Sanjay said, "Hey, you should set up a studio."
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew there was a school going on. So I spent the extra 2-3 weeks and kind of started interviewing and meeting people and looking at their portfolios. And I was blown away. Yeah? These young kids.
Yeah, there was somebody that you met who really changed your perspective, right?
Yeah, and so I was meeting, and then every day I'd meet like 4 or 5 people. And the last day there was this kid, I shouldn't call him kid, 19-year-old guy, kid, on his Kharge, and he brought stuff that he did on his own. Model characters, all that thing, and I looked at it and go like, I was very impressed. And then, and still then I go like, okay, it's happening, maybe a couple of years down the road, And at the end, when I told him, like, say, Anis, this is amazing. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. I was trying to inspire him. I actually, this is my passion, but I actually am studying, commerce, and one of these days,
management.
I'll be ending up working in a bank. So that day, like, when I told him, like, keep up, he caught up. He looked straight at my eyes.
Yeah.
He knew that I was just, complimenting his work, but he looked at me straight eyes and he said, like, that if somebody like you do not do something, when you come back next time, I'll be working in a bank.
Yeah.
And that hit me hard. I went home and, I go like, and then that night, I thought like, okay, we should try it out. Called my wife back in LA and told her, and so then the following 2-3 days, like, gathered like, out of like 25-30 people I met, I gathered like 20 people, and when I come here, like, I didn't know all these fancy restaurants. Now
Nanglo was the fanciest, yeah.
Was the fancy one. So I met them and I said, like, I'll come back in 3 months and we're gonna have a studio. So okay. They all being like, polite. They all probably thought that I was just kidding.
Yeah.
Went back, gave my Disney Matswani whenever Milai. Came back 3 months later and started it.
God
so
damn
that's how it happened.
God damn it, that's such an interesting
and
story.
That's why the name of the studio came Incessant Rain. It's if you go back in look at the past news articles and all, 2007 August, September, October was really hit hard monsoon. Yeah? And my brother-in-law and his he had remarried, and when they were driving that night, somewhere they passed away with flash flood. So the rain brought me here, And those 3 weeks that I extended, and every day was raining. And that's why the studio name became Incessant Rain. मान्छेले मलाई गाली गर्थे कस्तो नाम राखेको कस्तो भन्न गाह्रो रे के किन Incessant Rain नि भन्न गाह्रो के they also like but now it's like people accept it. Catchy name.
It's a very, very catchy name. Trust me, it's a very, very catchy name. Well, I'll get track back on once. I really want to track back and tell everybody where you were born. You were born in Kathmandu?
Yeah, I was born in Kathmandu, Tarzan. Tarzan, you know where Tarzan is, right? When I was young, I mean, we're talking about really, really long time back. There weren't that many houses in Tarzan. All kid. And then a little bit further away, they had like brick factories. So that's where I was. And I grew up. But then, like when I reached like 14, 15, the Tarzan area became like a hippie area. Lots of guest houses. People the Freak Street used to be in Choche, right?
Oh.
So Choche area, Maru, and that whole Ghanistan area used to be a place where the hippies come. You could buy hash cakes and all that stuff. I witnessed all this stuff. And the funny thing is, like, you walk down at night from, party or like that, and you're going home, and then all the way down, you see, like, I still remember त्यो घनिष्ठानको सँगै त्यो कोर्टयार्ड जस्तो नि त्यहाँ चाहिँ नि भजन बनाउँथ्यो and people would smoke weed and hashes and the hippies were like all just like this and we just go there and we look at that and then we walk home. What an amazing time. My first pair of jeans I bought from a hippie.
First pair of jeans. Wait, hold on. You could legally smoke weed at that time. Legally, not
only weed, when hash cakes and all. That was the 70s and till even like early 80s. People from all over the Europe would drive through in their Volkswagen, right?
Oh, I've heard stories to duita double decker bus liera आउँथ्यो
कसैले Volkswagen लिएर आउँथ्यो. They'd come through all this the
hippie trail.
What they call it, the Silk Road. Is that what they call it? I don't know. There's a road. Okay?
Find out.
They come all the way to Kathmandu and then spend like 4, 5, 6 months. And then when they run out of money, they start selling their stuff. Yeah. Some of those Volkswagens that still exist is probably from there. So they sell their things, jacket and jeans and all that stuff.
Probably sell all their stuff, eh? Dude, find out the hippie trail. The hippie trail one. Just open Google and find out the hippie trail. I really wanna.
Yeah, it's a very interesting.
I really wanna dig deeper into this. There's one specific photo that we always see. I don't know if you've seen this or not. There's a photo of Basantapur to Eden Hotel.
Eden Hotel. Yin Yang used to be there.
Yin Yang, the Tamil Yin Yang used to be in Basantapur.
Yeah. Tezendra, do you know Tezendra?
No.
So he's the owner of Yin Yang. Now it's in Tamil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to be there. And he's a friend of ours, and we used to go out there. And they had these like seats, tall speakers, एकदम heavy bass music, dang, sit on the thing and you get like feel that vibration. Yeah.
Hold on. So it starts from London. Oh, America what a chain.
No. America came. They fly to Europe. I know, and then they're like. So the funny thing about the hippies were like that whole journey was an exciting journey.
Yeah.
They spent 6, 7 months. They'd come all the way, like
So you basically start from, let's say, London, then you go Paris, Berlin, to Rome, Istanbul, and then so you do all Beirut, Tehran,
and Tehran they'll pick up some more hashes.
Yeah, probably.
Tehran and
probably. Kabul, Afghanistan, they're going to pick up more stuff.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not Tehran. Peshawar, right?
Afghanistan, Kabul, they're going to buy more stuff and then head towards Pakistan. Delhi and then Kathmandu. But
what happens is they spend more time in Kathmandu. Benares, Delhi like that, and Goa was also like a hippie area.
Yeah.
But Benares and all, they go for like more like spiritual journey, right? They go there and Kathmandu is where they would spend a lot of time.
Yeah, weather would have been really nice.
Probably, yeah. Oiliko भन्दा
the
definitely clean environment was.
Hold on. They go to Dhaka, the Banaras, Manar, to Sri Lanka होला त्यो पहिला Manar भन्थ्यो होला Sri Lanka लाई. And then they go to Bangkok. Go back to just Google this since we're in this topic. Just zoom out of this and Google hippie trail अनि काठमाडौँ गएर त hippie trail काठमाडौँ गएर त के आउँदो रहेछ.
Yeah. Look at the Vox show in there. You see that, right?
No. Go back.
Look at that Vox showing, the magic hippie trail. That's the type of Vox showing that they bring, right? And this is
Yoki is it?
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, look at their clothing, right?
Do you remember the Esther jeans किने है क्या?
Jeans अब हैन त्यो बेला अलिकति आज जस्तो थिएन, more loose, bell buttons, hairs. I had long hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hippie hairs.
This is so cool, man. Yeah, there you go. यही होला बस हैन.
Yeah, look at them. They come in बसमा आउँदाखेरि they come in groups. But like sometimes like families come like in a बच्चाहरु पनि लिएर आउँथ्यो. You see like little kids, with the mom and dad, box wagon.
कहिले भयो के थियो the biggest festival in the Woodstock. Woodstock, Google the Woodstock was like some 60s ki 70s ko
60s all the way to the 70s, right?
Did you travel anywhere before this? Straight you went to the US?
No, I had before I went to the US, I had gone to they called it Bombay back then. Yeah, I'd gone there for that was my first trip out of Nepal. Gone there for like 40 days. We were in, I was studying in Amritsar campus, ISC, and then we had a long break. There was a strike, so I went to, my brother was studying there. So we went up there for like 2 weeks, and then we ended up staying 40 days. Every day filming, and then, I'm like, new films every day. And then like just partying, like, you're completely away from home. No parents to tell you, like, do this, that, 6 of us went there, 6 good friends. We all went there and we had a great time.
Nice. Hold on. So you always wanted to go ahead and you're always a part of okay, I'm going to go ahead and do something creative. Mm-hmm. You always had that, or did you look at cartoons, or what was the striking moment?
Actually, when I was growing up, when I was 8, 9 years old, there used to be a guy called Ranjit Singh, and he used to have these Super 8mm projectors.
I don't know what that is.
You know the projectors, you have this etro chakka huncha. You don't know Super 8mm?
Super 8mm थाहा छैन मलाई.
16mm जस्तै Super 8 के.
अझ त्यत्रो सानो हुन्छ र?
सानो यत्रो.
ए हो र? Super 8 के भन्थ्यो यसलाई? Super 8.
Yeah. Projector, and then he would play all these cartoons on the walls every once a week like that. यस्तो projector.
Oh shit, यो त मैले कहिले देखेकै छैन है.
It's very unique, हैन? अनि हाम्रो टोलको 20-25 जना would just hang out there and would watch. ताचलमा मेरो घरको तलको लोरमा he was renting it, and he was a very fun character. Hey, आइज भन्छ, call all the friends and we'd watch that. And we used to all be glued कसरी गरे, and it's all entertaining. आजको पो they see all kind of. So that's how I got to exposed to animation. And we would watch that till late night, 8 o'clock, and Chimiku, my friends, Ranjiji पनि गाली गर्छ, बच्चाहरुले पनि खान्छ, homework someone done, take them back home. So that's how I got exposed. But I still didn't know what animation is, to be honest with you. I just thought about cartoon.
Yeah. Do you remember watching के हेरेको first याद छ?
त्यो बेला त Bugs Bunny को all these things, Speedy Gonzales, Bugs Bunny, all those things.
आउँथ्यो, त्यो सबै आउँथ्यो है नेपालमा तर 60s, 70s, 80s मा आउँथ्यो सबै सब.
So I don't know how he got it, but he had it in Super 8mm. This is even before before the video, VHS videos, and people start watching videos in different places.
TV थिएन त्यतिखेर थियो र?
थियो TV were just starting to come out. And TV ma, but people also were starting to watch. When I left here, in 81 I left, but 1979, 80, a lot of people had people start buying video players.
Oh, VHS.
Yeah, VHS, and would watch a lot of Hindi movies. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, English movie though it's very hard to find, but a lot of Hindi movies.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't own in the house, people who are really rich afforded it. You'd go to a place you could go to a place in Makhan and they would be charging 10 rupiah later. They'd show it in public. dark room.
Dark room logyo and this TV खोल्यो कि projector खोल्यो and this लगेर देखायो त्यसपछि त है साँच्चै when you think about it. तर त्यतिखेर नि Bugs Bunny, Speedy Gonzales, I'm sure when I was growing up it was like Ballu भन्ने आउँथ्यो के त्यो Tailspin. Tailspin, yeah, the DuckTales. DuckTales, Tailspin, and then there is this Sebastian the Crab. Disney go.
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid. I had a crush on Little Mermaid. It's so cute.
Little Mermaid.
Tailspin. This was like my favorite cartoon, right? तर हिन्दीमा आउँथ्यो.
ए हो, so they dubbed it in Hindi. So usually it's more like a short. I don't think it's a full feature, you know.
No, it was like a series. It was like a small and the kid भन्ने थियो के यसमा Google the Tailspin kid भनेर Google गर्दा हैन go back and then the whole that's the kid. That's the kid. Go down. Oh, that's the kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he used to surf behind the airplane. He used to literally surf behind the airplane. I was like, oh my god, when I grow up, cool. I want to be a goddamn plane. Hey, get a pilot. But later on, I was like, no. I want to be the kid.
The kid was,
wow. This was so fascinating when I was growing up. American, I'm sure it's American. You out to. Shit, man, when I think back, my favorite, I'll never forget this in my life. I wanted to talk to you about this, because I really wanted to get back to this. बच्चामा मेरो साथी जुन अहिले पनि छ हैन त्यसको घरमा चाहिँ मैले त्यो उले मलाई गिफ्ट दिएको थियो के यो किताब हैन अनि यो किताब चाहिँ के थियो भन्दा टिनटिनको थियो के
was it a book or a comic book?
It was a comic book हैन तर 3 in 1 थियो के यो चाहिँ I wish I still owned that के हैन 3 in 1 थियो हैन अनि टिनटिनको तीनटा डिफरेन्ट उ थियो के Tintin in China, Tintin in
Tibet होला
Tintin in Tibet थियो Tintin in some European country and Tintin somewhere else in somewhere in Africa like Egypt or Morocco or something like that. I was so fascinated by Tintin.
Yeah, me too. That's like in comic world, that's how I got exposed, right? Tintin, Asterix,
Archie's,
Little Lotta.
Little kitty?
Little Lotta one like young, I think she might be like 13, 14 years old. Chubby little girl, yeah, very mischievous chubby little girl.
Little Lotta.
So those are all the comics that
Lotta. Go back to Tintin. Oh, Blue Lotus. Oh shit! This is exactly what I had.
Which one?
This is what I had.
Oh, the three. Yeah. So you got the 3.
Sorry, I had
Tintin
exactly Tintin America, Pharaohs को थियो अनि Blue Lotus थियो यसमा चाहिँ ओपियम सोपियम खान्थ्यो के तान्थ्यो सरी हैन त्यो Blue Lotus मा चाहिँ ओपियम सोपियम तान्थ्यो त्यसमा चाहिँ मम्मीहरुको बिचमा गयो and Tintin America I completely forgot but this is exactly what I had. Open something else to the trilogy wala त्यो छेउमा go on the left go below.
Those would be collector's item if you still had those books.
Zoom into this. I later on I bought zoom into this later on I owned Tintin in Tibet हैन तर anyways, coming back to this, these were the fascinating things when I was growing up, like these were the
Me
things.
Too.
You too, right?
Yeah. So it's amazing, isn't it? Like, you and I are like probably 28 years apart? You're 32?
Yeah, I'm 34.
34, so 26 years apart. I grew up like reading these and, watching them. And it's so amazing that 26 years later, you're doing the same thing.
Same thing. It's so...
Some of these things are timeless.
Aye.
But oily, what happened? You don't see kids... if you go to kids like Ailiko, 17, 14, 15, tell them Tintin, they don't know. I don't think they don't know.
I don't think anybody's going... Tintin and Snowy, भन्ने थियो उसको कुकुर हैन I still remember that. He had a dog.
Captain Haddock.
Oh, Captain Haddock थियो. And then his friend, हैन. Wow, like those were like... You could engulf in those moments. Like Tintin को comic पढ्दाखेरि I was with Tintin. I felt that I was friends with Tintin, going through his journey.
Actually, if you put some gel and kind of stylize your hair, you could look like a Tintin.
I could look like Tintin. I look like a Nagaraj there.
But like, if you look at Tintin, right, his hair is like funny.
Who created Tintin, by the way? Do you know?
I don't know, actually. I think Tintin is like, it's from Europe, like it's a character's developing somewhere in Europe. Maybe it's probably
just Wikipedia the Tintin भनेर Adventures of Tintin, a series of 24 Belgium
okay,
cartoonist George Remy रहेछ हैन. The series was one of the most popular European comics, you got that right, of the 20th century. So interesting. Like, it was publication date is 1929 to 1976.
Yeah, so that's how long it kept going, huh?
That's it. I wish somebody would bring back Tintin. That would be so cool. But anyways, coming back to this, we'll definitely talk about all the things that you're doing. Right? So, on this saying you gradually, how did you end up in the US?
So, I was 19 years old, and my uncle was in the US, and then things were really bad. I don't know if you look at during 80s and 81 in Nepal. Education system, all that one too. Strikes. 2 years ago, IC would turn into 3 years, 4 years, And so he sponsored us, and then we went there, So it was my dad, me, and my younger sister. My brother was still studying in Bombay, and my mom was left behind for a while. So the whole purpose was to go for education. So, I actually thought like I'd go there for 4 years and come back. College, undergraduate party, I'll come back, So we left, and I was 19, went there. And then it's interesting, I didn't even think there would be jobs for like animation. So, Amrit Science Campus, my major was physics. So I was looking at it, so maybe I'll go and become a nuclear physicist. So I actually applied to a college in San Luis Obispo, which really is the main place for doing engineering in nuclear physics.
Nice.
But I had no idea what it is. I was always trying to be cool. Nuclear physics sounds good.
Yeah.
Civil engineering Nepalma tanna cha. Electrical engineering tanna cha. I want to do something that nobody else wanted. I applied there. And then one day I was going around with my friend, and IBM Pc had just come out in 80.
I'm sorry, what is IBM
Pc? First PC, personal computer, right? This big box. And we were watching, and then in the store I saw that, and
this is 1980.
80 ma.
Wow.
No, 1981 ma.
81 ma.
80 ma niskeko, but 81 ma they start selling in retail stores.
Okay.
81 I saw that, and I go like, what is this computer? What is computer? And then they started showing all this, you can type, do this, that, very primitive stuff. And again, computer. I'm going to go study computer engineering. That's, see, look, the second one, that's the first PC I had.
This one?
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Zoom in the floppy guy.
Floppy disk राख्यो हैन
यो हैन त्यो अघिनको चाहिँ zoom out, go to the second one.
There you go. You see a little floppy disk. They're like,
holy shit.
Yeah.
You owned this.
I owned that. That was the first. Because that's then I decided I'm going to do computer engineering, computer science. So then I changed my major and went there. And then I had one of those guys.
What made you buy your computer though? What really fascinated you?
College, you're always you had to start doing projects like that, and and in the college you have big computers, big microcomputers, Mac, mainframes. So small projects, you needed something like this.
1980, 81. Do you think anybody else from your friend circle or anybody you know ever
I have no idea.
Touched a computer before that?
I have no idea. I had no idea what computer was back then. So that's what I did. I did my undergraduate in computer engineering, which is really not software, but hardware. Yeah. And then I did my master's in software. And then master's in computer software, computer science, graphics.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we have to talk about this. 1981 when you joined, अरु कोही नेपाली थियो होला?
Computer engineering गरेको? थाहै भएन मलाई.
I know, when you think of it, you might be one of the first ones.
I could be, yeah.
I know, when you think about it now, 1981 America गएर अमेरिकामै भर्खर कम्प्युटर आउँदै थियो होला.
Mainframesहरु थियो, the big ones, that was very, fast computing. They would put all these little कागज जस्तो राखेर त्यो गर्नुपर्ने के. This is this kind of changed, like just like how these change the phone, these change the way people, because now you can bring it, and that's why they call personal computer. You could like have it at home, right?
Who came out with the computer first? Let's talk about this. Who came out with the first computers? Like mass computers? IBM थियो कि?
Personal computers ma IBM. But before that, there were all kinds of VAX system that they don't even exist. VAX. There were lots of these big computers.
Yeah.
The processing like only like universities and government agencies and all. Even like businesses didn't have that, So, yeah.
Probably you were one of the first Nepali to own a computer and probably have a degree.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe. Or if you think about it, in your university or somebody in the circle.
So that community in Nepal, in Los Angeles, there was a small Nepalese community. So when I was there, I was like the 23rd person Nepalese to be in LA. And we used to know everybody. You don't even know.
You were the 23rd person to be in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles.
In the 80s.
Yeah. So small network group, and some of my friends that were like around my age, they were all studying like different stuff. So I was the first guy, I guess, from the people that I know studying computer science. And it kind of proves my like, I wanted to do something cool when I could think.
Nuclear.
Yeah, I could be like, if I had gone to become a nuclear physicist, I'd be like, guess what? I'd be like trying to analyze what's going on with the Soviet Union.
Exactly. Right now, and how can I go out and like fix Chernobyl? Crazy, man, when you think about it. You must be one of the. I know when अहिले आएर सोच्दाखेरि के हैन मैले महावीर पुन्दाइसँग नै हामीले कुरा गरेका थियौं नि हैन when you went and studied in University of Nebraska मा हैन we talked with Mahavir Pundai as well हैन we had a chat with him as well. But anyways, it's very interesting, very fascinating किनभने त्यो कम्प्युटर हेर्दाखेरि नि हैन it's very
so
different.
Limited thing, but it's so fascinating त्यो बेला.
What did your parents say?
They supported. They said like whatever you want to study. My parents were very open-minded. They didn't never pressure me to become a doctor or a civil engineer like that. So my brother became a CPA. I went a little bit different.
So you always had this curiosity and a creative mindset.
I'm always like trying to find the next cool things for them.
Yeah. We will talk about all the cool things that you're doing. Very interesting. And then after you finished everything, how did you end up in the fanciest, one of the most reputed companies in the planet?
So basically, like I finished my computer science, computer engineering. Did my master's, and I was working actually for a computer company.
Which one?
That company doesn't even exist. It was called MAI Systems, right? They used to develop software for like banks, banking applications. So I was working there for like 5 years. And then I saw an ad that Disney was hiring, because Disney, they were like transitioning from cell painting to like digitizing and trying to do stuff in computer.
In the 80s?
In the 80s. So I saw the ad and I go like, doesn't hurt. Let me try it out. And I had no idea what the job would be. I just knew it was like graphics.
How old were you?
20. I was already 26, I think.
Yeah.
No, 29, I think.
29. You were in your 20s.
Yeah.
Late 20s.
Yeah, 20s.
Late 20s.
So I applied for it, and and there were like probably Sunday 600 apply garte 2 jana ko position like, and I got it. And so I transitioned. I moved to Disney, and when I went there, it's like walking into this room. What did I get myself into? Because like people were working in and so this was like early days as a Beauty and the Beast, So they were making Beauty and the Beast, and in the computers, people were like drawing and then just getting scanned, and they were like processing in the computer, like coloring and compositing, And I go like, wow, how did that? And then things were moving. It's one thing to see like amazing visuals on a screen.
Yeah.
But then like when they play, and I go like, oh my God, what is that? So within 6 months, I go like, I don't want to be sitting in a desk and programming. I was programming for for the film, like developing stuff. I said I don't want to do that. Talked to my boss and I transitioned into the animation department. They say like if you really want to do that, you got to learn on your own. So in the evening, Sanjma, do my work all day. In the evening, I would go and bug my other guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? Just and then stay late and then like finally I was able to transition.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how.
Wow. Google this. Google. Go to YouTube. I'm sure we can play this. YouTube Beauty and when did Beauty and the Beast come out there? Do you remember?
1991.
1991. YouTube
yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast ko ballroom scene bhanera.
Ballroom scene.
Yeah. Ballroom is like one of the first computer generated visuals. Yeah, like the cameras were like all moving and Beast and Belle were like dancing. So we basically choreographed the whole move. And then basically plot garyo. Paper and print garyo. And त्यो अनुसार they would then.
You're talking about this scene?
Right after this. Because the characters.
Yeah.
So यो चाहिँ सबै 2D भयो हैन. So now.
Character matter 3D.
Character 2D.
Character 2D भयो.
The background पनि 2D यसमा.
Okay.
Now when they go into the ballroom, that's all 3D. Yeah? So you'll see like. And the song was very powerful, and it became like a signature.
Dude, I don't think we can even play this, Taza. But anyways, play it. Screw it. Copyright.
I had no. Oh, okay. I had in my show reel I used to have this. Like yes, you kayo, and then they go to dance.
This is all done in the 80s. Late 80s ma ta gare hola ni yo haina?
Yo 1991
haina. So late 80s 90s ko beginning ma.
Yeah, so they say this year like right, all the Chandlers and all, and then like when they start dancing, look at the way the cameras and all does that. It's पहिला it was impossible, like look at that, the way the
yo shot
this whole
and
the song is very
song is look at this.
Yeah, so
how long does it take again, this is such a silly question. Your shot one
your whole sequence
yeah. Wow.
Oh my god, we were using computers. They call it graphics like silicon graphics. The company does not exist anymore, but they were very high end for graphics. Yorako would cost like $25,000.
Okay,
that's expensive, now you can probably Tisco computing power is like I don't know. Now if you go pay $3,000, $4,000, you have like 20 times, 50 times more powerful.
More powerful than that.
But that's what that's the.
You're saying I'm shocked. The computing power of a calculator. Phone pani bhane त्यो calculator पाउँछ के the computing power of a calculator is equivalent to a computer to the power of what sent the men in moon भनेर भन्छ के
अहिले पनि
हैन त्यो Apollo 11 को जुन computing power थियो नि हैन त्यो एउटा normal calculator को computing power बराबर छ के अहिलेको. So just imagine that हामीले त्यतिखेर के achieve गर्न सक्यौ भनेर
with a little power of the little calculator.
Calculator. With the power, all the power that we have after using all the fossil fuels that we can, we can definitely go ahead and send man and woman into moon and Mars.
Yeah.
Imagine what's going to happen when we're gone in another 100, 200 years. I mean,
do you think about that?
I think about it all the time. All the time.
I don't go that far. I think about like what happens if like 30 years from now, will I get, I'm sure, it definitely, will I get to explore like something that's so unique that's like you don't even think about,
Imagine this. Who would have thought that we could just talk to each other with a phone?
Yeah.
I never thought about it. I'm sure when you when you got the computer, I know, weren't you fascinated when you saw that computer?
Yeah, it's even just like typing letters and being able to erase was fascinating. Simple stuff like you type stuff and then go like, okay, let me erase it. Like because before that, like typewriter, things don't work out change the paper and redo all the stuff.
Man, I never thought about it that way.
Like
I never thought about it that way.
How simple our lives has been with technology. Amazing.
It's so fantastic.
If you use it properly.
मलाई चाहिँ personally, like, in my lifetime, I don't know how long I'm going to live. No, I wish I knew. I definitely want to see men and women in Moon. I would definitely want to see men and women in Mars. At least we try to colonize a different planet. At least try to. In a मेरो lifetime, I definitely want to see that. I'd be happy if I see that. Like, म एकदम ठुलो sci-fi nerd हो कि त एकदमै ठुलो हैन. मलाई चाहिँ I personally want to see men and women in Mars. In my lifetime.
Not just going and coming back, but like
colonizing.
I think that might happen.
You think so?
Yeah, in your lifetime, sure.
I don't know, in our lifetime.
You're only 34, so you got another. Just think about it, another 50 years. I don't like.
No. I don't know. We'll find out. But at least seeing that would be like, okay, there is something else for this species. Like, as humankind, we definitely strive to be. Because it sounds like Star Wars and Star Trek. So we always have to evolve, neither.
Yeah.
And to evolve, we have to leave this planet.
Yeah.
We have to leave this planet, and we have to go far. At least I believe in that.
Yeah.
I'm a big, humongous believer in that.
Yeah. The space is so huge, like, we're just seeing a fraction of things, right? Even when you see the stars, like,
it's crazy.
Like, it's amazing.
It's crazy.
We are such a small. But the thing about it is, like, I'm like digressing a little bit. Technology has made us move so far, But then, like, there are still things. Like, talking about spiritual things.
Yeah.
Mancherle tantric garcha, and you hear these sounds and stories. Those still are like there. I mean, there's some sort of. I'm not a religious person, but I do believe in these energies. Yeah? The things that happen, like. Things that happen, to people, and people go kibo, like, and you can't answer that. Yeah, those things still there, and I'm sure that somewhere connected to science, energy waves, and
I'm sure. Yeah. Thousands and thousands. I'm very busy. I'm reading a couple of things. Two things that I'm very busy with reading. Whatever time I have, I like spending that reading about. अब किताब पढेर गएर पुरानो नोभल पढेर मैले केही पाउनेवाला छैन जस्तो त्यो चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ हैन त्यो मेरो आफ्नो पर्सनल ओपिनियन हो हैन I like reading about history and I like reading about what can happen next हैन दुई थोक म पढ्दैछु के त एउटा चाहिँ I'm reading about the USSR the Soviet Union because it's a hot topic right now हैन perfect timing to read about that.
Maybe you can tap into what's happening in Putin's
okay, let's talk about it. What do you think is really okay if you're okay with talking about it, what do you think is happening around the world in terms of not just the war, what do you think is happening? Where are we headed towards?
I think overall in the last maybe like 8-9 years, very much national. Every country is trying to be like just looking after themselves, nationally. Like you look at like Donald Trump is one of them, big time. A lot of people would not like me saying that, but I strongly believe that he really messed up the U.S. You have people like Putin. You have people in North Korea. You have people like even in like Italy, Hungary, and all those who are like really dictator type of people. Yeah? If you go back 10, 15 years back, this thing didn't happen. A lot of people would think like the world is flat. People start helping each other. Now it's all about me. And that's really dangerous and scary, People are just trying to protect themselves. And then when you see what's happening in Ukraine, and everybody is like saying that's not right, but nobody's there to help. And that scares me. The superpowers that have nuclear powers and all can pretty much, they don't need to be liked by anybody. They can just keep going to do what they want. Like so, Russia doing this now sends a signal to China. Hey, maybe you can go and take over Taiwan, and that's what's happening. पहिला when even China took over Tibet, right? There was all these protests, but nothing happened. Then that completely stopped. I mean, have you ever heard in the last 20 years like a different country taking over another country? Eh? You don't even think about it. Now it's like reality, and that scares me.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. The democracies of the world need to go out and definitely help out on the democracy. Exactly. I believe in that. I'm a humongous believer in democracy. Yeah, the freedom to choose, the freedom to express yourself, the freedom to go out and be who you want to be. Yeah. There's only freedom,
freedom. And so the whole concept of, and the younger generation, they embrace it and all, but the whole idea that I mean, your COVID quick case, if you happen to be in a country like USA, you get these vaccines, but then you have countries that's not getting the vaccine, right? So, and they make policies like we need to keep it for ourselves. So people are starting to look at very myopically just their world. Okay? They're not looking at the big thing, and I think that's the biggest problem that the people, the humans these days are facing. Instead of thinking like, we have places like Nepal, Africa, and all. How do you uplift them? You have like World Bank and UN and all, but they're kind of being helpless when all these big, politicians and all make these decisions. But the whole idea of like trying to bring the rest of the countries around the world to some level is like really being pushed back again.
The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. Exactly. Like there's a humongous divide here, or a ठुलो divide थियो कि कोभिड टाइममा के थियो भने हरेक व्यक्तिले मेरो स्ट्यान्ड त्यतिखेर पनि त्यही थियो, अहिले पनि त्यही नै हुनेछ, जिन्दगीभरि त्यही नै हुनेछ। हरेक मान्छेले आफ्नो टेबलमा आफ्नो परिवारको लागि खाना राख्ने मौका पाउनुपर्छ, त्यसमा कुनै शङ्कै छैन हैन। एन्ड नोबडी शुड स्टप द्याट पर्सन, म्यान वुमन, इट रियली डजन्ट म्याटर। आफ्नो टेबलमा आफूले काम गरेर खाना राख्ने मौका त पाउनु पर्यो नि हैन। या त हेरिदिनु पर्यो स्टेटले,
एक्ज्याक्टली
हेर्नु त पर्यो नि त नि। सो इन्टरनेसनल संसारमा पनि त्यही लाग्छ जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई हैन। कुनै देशले अथवा कसैले गरी खान खोजिरहेछ भने या त मद्दत गर्यो तर उसलाई रोक्न चाहिँ नरोक्नु।
Exactly. Yeah, that's freedom. Freedom for, the basic needs, right? Freedom for survival, freedom for all those things.
And now when we're looking at around the world, it's very tragic. And Asti, again, I've been following the Russia-Ukraine thing like from day one, right from the get-go, and it's really sad to see the kids. त्यो रहेछ कि अहिले बच्चाहरू अहिले पनि war, again, it's not just Russia-Ukraine, it's any war torn country, हैन। बच्चाहरू अहिले पनि त्यो सबवे स्टेसनमा हुन सक्छ, अन्डरग्राउन्ड बङ्करमा हुन सक्छ, पढिरहेछन् के पढिरहेछन्। I'm sure they're still studying, kids will find a way to study के हुन्छ नि, they're still studying. I gave SLC के अरे एउटा मैनबत्तीको भरमा थिएन नि त, मेरो बेलामा त लाइटै थिएन त,
भनेको त I totally get you,
लाइटै थिएन त। Can you imagine अहिले आएर सोच्दाखेरि हैन, त्यस्तो पनि दिन थियो जस्तो लाग्छ के, तर बत्ती थिएन के त।
Isn't that amazing, the amount of pressure, like to जाँचको लागि पढेर चाहिँ नि दिमागमा राख्ने कि बत्तीको चाहिँ नि, it's
and it's very tricky then. When I think about war-torn countries or developing nations, imagine the kids. I always think about the kids. Forget about my generation. I have done my part. I'm in my 30s, and you're in your 60s. If that's okay, if I can say that. But imagine somebody who is like 5, who is 8, who is 10, who is 12, who are still trying to go out and get their shit done. Trying to learn. They're going to be the next generation, and we need to think about the next generation. Okay? But here, the leaders of, again, I can take thousands of names. I know the leaders. I don't know if they're thinking of the next generation or the generation after them. Okay?
No, I really don't think either. They're looking after themselves and the scars these kids have. So like, let me just give you my own example. My childhood was so. Forget about like my childhood was so much fun. I can still go back like 50 years, 55 years, like even like 60 when I was 7 years. Like so much fun, right? That's not the same these days, right? Things are so complicated and complex. Like when I was small, having to worry about like food and all didn't even exist. You know, very few people. You know, you had farms everywhere. Like, if you can't afford to buy, you had a piece of land that people can do. And I'm not talking about just the city, even in the villages. And look at now, when you walk in the cities and all, in Nepal and elsewhere, it's crazy. The inflation, and the people that suffer are the kids. Like they really don't know what's going on. Like when you talk about the kids in Ukraine, a lot of these kids, they don't know what's happening. They just know like something's happening, bombs and people getting killed.
Yeah.
And the scars. Like I still remember that image. You probably seen that image. To Syria, about a bacha, like, all that thing happened. That the little kid that was washed away in the shore. It's like, and people move on, and they go to the next big thing.
It's always the same. It's always the same. But at least in my lifetime, I want to do things that's going to definitely make the next generation better. And you're doing the same thing too.
We have to make change. I think everybody should do something. Whatever it is, any little piece to make things better.
I believe that's the only thing that we can go ahead and do, to make sure that the next generation does not feel the same amount of well, again, I have a lot of remorse and a lot of guilt as well, but definitely the next generation can have it in a different way so that they can achieve differently. And at least Nepalko context, that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast. I started this podcast so that one person can at least go ahead and understand or gain knowledge from the kind of guests that I have. Because again, it's of course sometimes we have all fun and games here in this podcast, but I have some of the most smartest people in this podcast, and at least that one kid gets some kind of knowledge, something off of this podcast, and they have, and I'm glad that I have amazing guests like yourself who've really revolutionized, really gone ahead and made a change and difference in your field, and that's very, very important. Let's come back to the conversation, and tell me about how Disney was on day one, like day one of walking into Disney, like the legacy. Disney got the legacy, the legacy maintain garnalai athwa त्यो legacy चाहिँ कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ के, just to get a perspective of Disney. So if you can talk about it.
So it's a very different environment, right? I went from a computer company to a filmmaking company. Yeah. And the vibes and the pressure of like getting things done is just amazing. The moment you walk in, it's like you're walking into a soundstage studio. So it's amazing. Like there's a pressure to get things done. When I started there, we're making Beauty and the Beast, and there was a deadline. You had to get the film done to be able to release it.
Yeah.
So there were times where like we worked late at nights. So it really sets up the tone, okay? And then definitely lots of fun, And, Disney is great in the sense that we used to have happy hours every Friday, 4 o'clock. So it's interesting. Like what happens is most people may not know, Disney Beauty and the Beast is in production right now. Oh. But right behind it, there's 2 other productions that's in development. So like Aladdin and Lion King was the next 2 projects, right? So there's a team of that there, a small team, but Beauty and the Beast is where so the production that is happening will throw parties every now and then, okay? Almost every Friday, food and beers and wines and all. So those are like fun times, and then gifts. It's amazing the amount of gifts we used to get. I don't know, back then. Stuffed animals. And,
gift for Disney
T-shirt, jackets, for employees. Yeah. Hats. So and I'll tell you a story. I had a T-shirt, Beauty and the Beast T-shirt, and I wore that, and it's for cast and crew. So I wore that. 2 years later, I was at a gym, and I wore that and went. A guy came to me and said, like, "Hey, can I buy that off from you?" Literally. And I said, I looked at it and said, like, "What do you mean this is, He goes, "I'd pay you $50, yeah, just like that." And I go like, I would have sold it, but I didn't have another spare T-shirt. If I sold that to you, I would be going. So so to collect it, and some of the things like like they call it a cell, like a painting. That's they only do, they only give out limited editions. Yeah.
No.
Some of them I have like about almost every picture I've worked in. I have. Some of them now sells for like $10,000, $15,000. So basically, what I'm saying is that it's a huge masses of people all over the world who are like crazy about these things. What happens in Disney, the coffee cup that has like something with Lion King, like those it's amazing. And obviously they have all this merchandising that you can buy, right?
Yeah.
But the ones that's made like for cast and crew is very, very valuable one.
Very valuable, very unique.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the environment, back to your question, it's very. I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun.
How long did you work there?
18 years.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Imagine if you were still with Disney. You also got the offer with DreamWorks, okay?
Yeah. So when I was at finishing, I finished Lion King, and our chief Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was in charge of the feature animation, he had gone to set up DreamWorks with David Geffen and Steven Spielberg, and he was trying to recruit for his film. He was making a movie called Prince of Egypt. So to hamro film sakin lagdakeri, he started, recruiting heavily. My directors, producers, and me myself too. So I still remember, like I don't know if I should say, but he, I had an agent, right? So he contacted me and said, like, we'd like to have breakfast with Kiran Bhakta. But I was so my agent comes like, Kiran, Jeffrey wants to have a breakfast with you and see and show you his film. So the DreamWorks office was still in Universal Studio Lotma, Steven Spielberg the Amling Studio. So 9 o'clock in the morning, my agent and I went, we had breakfast with Jeffrey, and then he took me to a screening room and showed his film. Like, the stories. That he showed me a portion of the film Prince of Egypt to, entice me. And I was blown away. I went back and I told my friends, and I said, "My God, like Jeffrey really wants me." So I went back, and then at the same time, the Disney Animation, my president and all, they were like trying to make sure
you stay.
Yeah. So they were like constant. So you're like completely back and forth. Great times, eh?
Fantastic times.
So. And then they came up with an amazing offer. So I still remember, the Biana Malay my agent phone like, Kiran, Jeffrey's made an offer to you. And he said, like, and by the way, Disney is like also matching that. And in fact, with Disney, I got you 3 months leave, just to go and chill, before you start the next movie. So it was very hard decision, I was thinking, and then the next day he calls me, Jeffrey. Directly, agent through my phone, what's taking you so long to make a decision? Timuro swasni permission in Portugal. I was just like completely, that's what made me change my mind in that state. Uchani is so aggressive, I got scared of that. And thank God, like, I ended up staying at Disney. Yeah. But he did recruit a lot of great talent. That's how he set up DreamWorks.
How is it internationally? Like the top companies, when you think about it, is it Disney, DreamWorks, who else?
Yeah, only to like animation, Disney, because now Disney's got Pixar in its thing. They, I don't know if you know Blue Skies, when you like the one in New York, that's owned by Fox. That was also Disney and then later on they shut down. So Disney's got the main one, and then DreamWorks is there. DreamWorks is now bought by Universal, NBC Universal. So those are the two. But then there's a lot of other studios now. Like they may not be big as Disney and DreamWorks, but there are lots of studios like Universal Illumination, which is the ones that do all the Despicable Me.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things. And what's really cool about it is that there are different types of animated films coming out here, different styles and different looks, and it really promoted artists' career.
Yeah, it definitely
if you're
did.
an animator, if you're a good animator, मैले Disney छोड्दाखेरि I was working for one of the most well-known animator called Glenn Kinke. He's the guy who designed the Ariel, the character that you follow. He's the one who designed Beast and animated. He's the guy who did Tarzan. So I was working with him, and I worked with him for 4 or 5 years. अनि उसको तलब कति भनौँ न
कति millions
इङ्ग्लिसमा भन्यो भने उनीहरूले फेरि भन्यो नेपालीमा के उसले 5 वर्ष that's Glenn.
Yeah.
He was the director. He was like my boss friend. I learned a lot of things from him.
Nice.
Amazing stuff. A lot of the things that I bring to our studio is like stuff that I picked up.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Talago, dude. Talago. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
यसले $15 million को साइन गर्छ 4 वर्षको कन्ट्र्याक्ट भनेपछि वर्षको 4 million कमाउँथ्यो.
Crazy.
So and then he's left. Glenn's left Disney too, and he started directing. 3 years ago, I think 3 years ago, right before COVID, he released Over the Moon. But,
wow.
Yeah, he's my mentor. I worked with him for 5 years. We used to have an office. And the reason they teamed me up with him was he just finished Tarzan, and he wanted to direct it. And only contracts and stock market, Disney stock market. So they teamed me up with him because he's a 2D animator, So they wanted him to do Rapunzel, which later on became Tangled. So I was his right-hand man to bring him into the digital world. So he teach me all the 3D, and I teach him all the digital world. The digital CG ma ke गर्ने and ke गर्नु हुन्छ Yeah.
Wow. The amount of there you go. That's Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
I mean the way he designs the characters and then puts them into animate and make them come to life is amazing.
How does it work? Right? You're a basic layman who is listening to us at the moment. Explain gardaheri.
So that one there that you're seeing is like his concept art one, that's Rapunzel. Okay? So she has long hair, and then so they do a lot of these concepts art. Both in color and sketches and all, just to give you a feel and to develop the characters. For example, in Tarzan, Glenn designed the character Tarzan, the way he moves, studying apes. Because Tarzan is brought up by the apes, So the way Tarzan moves and all is just and all that stuff, So it's interesting because they actually bring and study. For example, when we were working on Lion King, they would actually bring lions to the studio.
They would bring lions to the studio.
Yeah.
Live lions.
Live lions.
They
would have it for a couple of hours or a day.
Look at a lion.
And the artist would be sketching and studying. It's all about studying. Animation, I think a lot of people don't understand that it's just being a great person who can draw or make things move. They need to be to be able to tap into being an actor. Emotions so a lot of studying. So someone like Glenn, if you see him anytime, even I met him a couple of years back, he would always carry a sketch pad. So if he's here and talking to you, he'll be answering, he'll be sketching you. So they're always drawing and understanding and getting that. Somebody can draw you, but his drawing would capture what's going in your mind.
Wow.
That's the power.
Wow.
Mannu parne. Because you can always, people can draw something and, that looks nice. But when you can really draw something and the picture speaks what is that character is, that's the magic. That's the magic, I say.
Wow. Well said.
Yeah.
So well said.
Yeah.
So well said.
So that's So my experience with Disney was great because I got to work with great people like that. And to be honest with you, it helped to set up the studio too. So when I set up my studio here, when I came back and those 20 people going back, started in the first 5-6 months we were just exploring and pipeline and then all of a sudden like 4-5 mahina we were doing some little Nepalko Thomson's commercial and 4 or 5 months went by and I started worrying like how do you get the revenue?
Hold on, before you jump into that, I really wanted to ask you what made you quit your job? I'm sure it was a high-paying job. You were doing a good. You were settled in the U.S. I know. You had family, you had kids. Yeah. You're all settled. So everything is done. You came back here. Of course, we've heard the story about everybody that you met. Was it? नेपालमा छैन मलाई केही न केही दिनु मन छ नेपालमा or I want to give back to the country where I was born what made you
I didn't think of it I'm not Mahavir Punji I didn't think of it like that the seeing these young kids like for example like the Anis it just hit me right on the spot like something's got to be done and it was very quick decision I mean, like within 24 hours, decided that. So I settled the show, but then I also, to be honest with you, very candidly, I thought like I'll give it a year. Ek barsa try also. If not, I can always. My Disney soda unele vante. You can always come back when they calculate. So I thought I'll give it a year. Ek barsa, let me try it. And it was a different thing. Being an entrepreneur.
Exactly. You were working in Disney.
So now like you're actually, the stress. Sometimes people say like, oh, there is stress. And I like stress in some way. To stress by like I get bored. And the idea of like, oh, I got this thing. Now I'm responsible for these 20 people. I'm responsible to bring projects and all the things. That stress is the driving force. I don't know if you remember that year, 2008 was a really tough year.
It was a tough year for the US,
strikes,
for Nepal.
Prachanda was, the prime minister. They're just things that just before like 2007, all these wars. They're just so it was terrible time in terms of like just getting things happening in Nepal. Companies were closing. Strikes and the unions were creating all that stuff. So that for me the challenge, like I want to do something. Only 6 months after that, I started really panicking. I never told this to my team, but
of course not.
Internally I was like, really, 6 months have gone back, and can't just keep the company going. So I went back and Disney helped me out. Went back and talked to my producer, a friend of mine who I worked with him on Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and I worked with him for so many films. And I went to him and I told Don, I said, his name is Don, very, very recognized producer. I said, can you give me some work? And they knew I had come to Nepal and settled with. And Don is very, cool, and he said like, I can't believe that you have set up a studio in Nepal. You have yaks running around to generate electricity. That's how they looked at Nepal. It's a Shangri-La, right? It's not like high-tech place. And I just smiled because back in my mind, I go like, yeah, it's almost like having the yaks run to generate electricity because we don't have electricity 19 hours.
Is that him?
Hours. Yeah, that's him.
Cancel
So like they don't know that we do have that problem, right? Electricity was a big problem. So I talked to him, and and then a lot of people used to think like I was bullshitting. Go to India, India. So the showreel that I showed you.
Yeah. Can we show it to everybody?
Yeah.
Do we have the showreel?
Yeah.
Achut, pull out the showreel. Can we show that to everybody?
Yeah. That's our showreel. So this showreel was something that I thought of, which is if I just put a showreel of the work we did, you can play it.
Let's show it to everybody. Yeah.
If you just put the showreel of the world.
Played.
You know, people can think like, you know, yeah, you know, looks cool, but what's guaranteed that it was done in Nepal?
Is this?
Yeah. So I also put behind the scenes. People working and all. You know.
Yeah.
Kinabhane showreel bhane ta you could have done somewhere from Philippines and showreel.
I want to tell everybody that this is all done in Nepal by Nepali
That's the first
animators.
Project that's the first project we did for Disney. That's what set us up. The 6 months go stress got a project for Disney to do a Mickey Mouse.
Hold on, go back. That's a big deal. Go back. Oh, you अझ पछाडि छ यो हैन
Oh,
यो pause.
Yeah.
यो हामीले 2007-8 मा
2008 मा गरेको.
2008 मा गरेको यो कुन चाहिँमा where is this in the
so त्यो
is
बेला
it somewhere अरु कतै छ?
So त्यो बेला it got released in the theaters in India. I don't know if you know, Disney was trying to start animation in India, you know, like to tap into that market of the Indian. So they wanted to do something that's very localized. And so they had funded Yasraj Studio to make a movie called Roadside Romeo.
Roadside Romeo.
Yeah. And Roadside Romeo didn't do well because they gave all the money, but they didn't have the experience, you know. And it was a failure. But what happened was Disney asked me to do this thing, and it's a Diwali theme, okay? And the Roadside Romeo was being released right before Diwali. So Roadside Romeo ko movie ko agadi, this piece was played. And then later on when they made the videos and DVDs, that was there too. So we had like 6 weeks to make it.
That's it.
Project lier aaye. We had to do everything from scratch. It's only 30
First
seconds.
project.
Yeah. It was scary like hell. Kinabhane everything we had to do from scratch. But that was the best thing that happened to the studio. That's the start of stuff. Yeah? We worked day and night for 6 weeks. Office mein shoot nahi. You know. So I have an interesting story about this. We were doing this and we calculated. Yeah, we calculated like this is water, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have another cup? I could actually use some coffee.
You could actually use some coffee, right? No worries. We will get into the story. Let's get a cup.
We can do it later.
Yeah. No. We'll get a cup. I'll get you some coffee. Get a cup. Take a break for like 2 minutes and then get a cup. No, I definitely want to go ahead and hear this story. Jesus, look at this thing. Man, I cannot believe that we made that in 2008 in Nepal using Nepali animators. It's really, really
20
amazing.
people. They're all assembled 6 months ago, you know. Yeah, it's amazing. So we're down to the last wire. We are like 10 days left. You know, it has to be released for the movie. I did the calculations of just getting completion in terms of lighting, rendering,
Hold on. I can't. What was the real story?
So the story was we were working on this Donald Duck Mickey piece for.
Yeah, we were already there. Yeah.
And we had 10 days before, you know, I did the calculations and realized that there's no way we could be able to complete that, right? First, just in terms of manpower, you know. Second is the machines, yeah? Machine pani, then I started like some of them had machines, we had them bring those. We had some 5-6 machines. I wish I had brought the pictures. I had pictures of them. Then what happened was I said nobody goes home. You know, everybody stay, you know, eat food here, sleep. So we started doing that for 2-3 days. Obviously, out of the 20 people, the last 12 people. The last part, the people who were going to do lighting, rendering, and effects and compositing. I can't do this, you know. Their families are calling them and all. So I said, okay, we work all night. 5 o'clock, we all go home.
Yeah.
And then 10 o'clock, we come back and start. So we started that. And basically what happened was 4 of them didn't come back at 10 o'clock. We called them. Ekjanaको wifely pick up गरेर के भन्छ तपाईहरुले मेरो श्रीमानले you know, my husband, you haven't made him, so I don't want to wake him up.
Oh.
You know, he hasn't slept and so he's sleeping. We said no, he has to come. So okay, man. So after the 5th day, what I did was like those. And then we went down to like the last 6, 7 people. After the 5th, 6th day, what I did was I took them to my apartment. I couldn't even afford to let them go home. We'll all go to my apartment. Someone will sleep in the sofa. Sleep back. That's how we spent and got it done. And when we got it done and it was completed, and that's when everybody, forget about me, every artist that worked on it felt such high. We did it, you know. That was the moment. That's when I realized, okay, just to situation we could get it done. You know, I said like, this is it. That's the turning point. If we had failed to deliver that, then we would have like another 4 or 5 months. I would have purely be demoralized, right?
Yeah.
That thing really kicked us, and then it's like, then again, what happened is we didn't have another project for a while. You know, you're brand new.
Oh.
You know, you get a project. It's not like, you know, you get project. So we brand new. But what happened was, I used that to go and show it to different clients. You know, and say, this is what we did, and they go like, you did that in Nepal, and that's how a project started coming. So you just need in startups, really, like you just need one break.
Yeah.
That will make it.
Yeah.
And to make that one break, you just gotta do it.
I know exactly what you mean. Nobody had thought that podcast would work in Nepal.
Yeah.
People, I'm not even lying to you. People didn't even know what a podcast was in the beginning. My guests, I'm not lying to you. My guests had no idea what a podcast means. अहिलेसम्म पनि अब इन्टरभ्यू होइन अनि त्यसपछि जुन अब it's again it is a different name for an interview. It's called a podcast होइन. We set up the studio होइन. मैले दाइलाई अफेयर भन्दै थिएँ नि लकडाउनमा we set up the studio. It's a startup. It is a startup. Nobody had done it होइन. But I come with a lot of experience working in the media for 12-13 years in Nepal होइन. अनि I started this, and then in the beginning phases, I'm thankful to my guests, you know, who came over.
Who was your first guest?
Malvika Subba.
Oh.
She's my sister. You know, I've worked with her for almost 15 years. And I gave her a call. I said, okay, I've set this up. She knew I was setting up a studio. You know, I give her a call and I go like, okay, you're my first guest. She goes like, all right, just tell me which day, which hour, and I'll be there. That first day, that first moment when I literally sat down here and I was talking to her, I didn't know what I was doing. She didn't know what she was doing. None of us knew. Did you know what we were doing?
You just get the camera going and...
He didn't even know what a podcast is when I hired him. Did you know that what a podcast was?
Some sort of radio show.
Did you know what a podcast was? Huh?
Ali.
Yeah, so he's being modest now, right? And then we got started, and now I'm really thankful that I have fantastic guests, and thank you very much for coming as well. And
listeners and followers.
Yeah, and all the people who listened. I had 37 subscribers when I started on YouTube. And now I don't even know how much we have, and I always told my team, all right, we're going to do it for those 37 people. होइन त्यो 37 थियो कि 38 थियो त्यस्तै गरी थियो होइन उनीहरूको लागि गरौँ ल alright let's get started, let's do it for the 37, and every day we do it for the same people, for that one person. We continuously do it, and I'm really thankful to all my guests who come. तर that initial त्यो beginning phases मा जति त्यो tricky हुन्छ नि अहिले पनि it's tricky. We haven't even like scratched the surface of what we're gonna do होइन in terms of creating content. तर त्यो creating meaningful content, let me rephrase that होइन तर त्यो beginning phases मा त I totally understand त्यो पनि. And you were talking about 2007-8 and bringing animation to a country that we didn't even imagine that.
Do you remember the time when there was all these strikes and then the Maoists like completely did the lockdown for 5 days?
Yeah.
And then the curfew, and then like you only had between 5 to 7 that you could go buy vegetables, you know? I was in the middle of a project for a client. We have to send data every night, you know? Huge amount of data. I mean, the stress of like, what if they shut down the internet? Because you've heard about that, like they shut down the internet for the outside world. And then like, how do you manage that? So basically what we did is we had, again, people sleep in the thing, stock up with food and sleeping bags, and that's how we got it. And then that last Friday when masses of people went to the Darbar Square, and opened up, since then, it's the masses that really changed the mind. Those 5 days was hell. It was scary. Because like you can't tell the client like we have this mass protest going on and curfew and we can't deliver the time. You're gone.
Yeah.
Because that word would go.
Entertainment,
small world, small. They'll say the studio in Nepal screwed us up. Panepachi, like nobody's gonna touch you.
Nobody's gonna work with you.
Yeah. So we had some moments like that. Scary.
Crazy, super crazy. Okay, so you went ahead and started with the 20, right? How many people still work for you now?
अहिले नेपालमा 175 अनि इन्डियामा पनि छ. We have like about 30 people out there.
त्यो सुरुको 20 जना मध्ये कतिजना छ भने मैले? Do you remember?
1, 2, 3.
3 जना बाँकी छ अझै. The 3 are still with you.
I'll tell you the story about that kid,
The kid who made you change your mind.
Yeah. The guy, the kid who really changed my mind one way, it helped to change. When I say that, the other 19 were like, so we mean nothing, so I have to be careful. So like, you like, we didn't mean anything, So 7 months later, after we finished the Disney Diwali, 7-8 months later, he came to me and said, "Sir, I have to quit." And I was shocked. I told him, "Kina," and he said, like, "Sir," I said, "What's wrong with the job? You don't like it?" He goes like, No, I love my job, but my parents don't understand. They think that I go to a place and play video games all day.
Huh.
And I go like, okay, let me meet your family, parents. Let me see if I can talk to them. He said, okay, I'll bring them. Then that evening I thought like, okay, if he's going through that thing, there must be other kids' families, because the animation one, they say cartoon, they have no idea. So then I started this thing called open house, where I said, okay, instead of just for Anis, like we're gonna invite all the artists because normally we're closed, because of security. And everybody can bring their friends and family. Whenever we start, and then we start like 4 o'clock. The rule is that we show everything that we're working on, but each person is the host for their guest. I'm not the host.
Yeah.
They basically walk through the whole process. To first open house, we had 25, 30 artists. 130 people showed up. And our office was back then was that Esko party.
Oh.
And it was amazing, right? Because the families saw like what a collective group. It's like animation is like it's a very collective group. One person doesn't create a film, So like he shows like this is what I do. And then from here it goes to this guy. And around 6:30, the mom came to me and said like, almost like very teary, I had no idea how capable my son was. मलाई थाहै थिएन. म त मेरो छोरा कलेज जान्छ अनि यहाँ चाहिँ नि गेम खेल्छ हैन. तर उसले काम गरेको the stuff he is doing and how he is interacting with his friends, I had no idea that my son is this talented. And that's another part where it really kicked in. So like, you are changing somebody's, not only changing somebody's career, but also like how the family are seeing what their kids are doing. Not that like, at 19 years old, parents, they think of you as like, college go Holland tatu, right? Because they're not working, they have, most of them. But when they see their sons, and so I always say, and we've continued that open house. I always say that, हाम्रो डिज्नीमा पनि थियो like bring your family to work day, So like I used to take my daughter there once a year, at least. अरू बेला पनि once a year, he just hangs out with me. She hangs out with me and walks around. But it's so important. I think this is something that I think people should do in Nepal. I'm sure maybe some are doing, to invite your families to your work. And just see like how, especially our younger generation, my kids and all, when they're working, to see how the parents see their kids, how they're contributing, changes the outlook completely. Whether you're working in a bank or anything, just to see your son. As a parent, they always look at the kids as small. But when you see your kid in action, they go like, he's somebody. So I think those are like very important things that, that, I experienced seeing them grow and, seeing their families like really appreciate their, the work and also.
That's really nice. This is really a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Is he still working for you? Or has he moved on to Disney?
So that's the thing so he worked for another 2 years.
Yeah.
Then he said, I go to my England in Anicho, I'm going to go study. I said, that's great. So he went to England. He studied computer graphics, just like me. And then he was a teacher. So,
beautiful.
Yeah, so a kid who was learning to do stuff looky at night was being pushed towards like being something that he didn't want to do.
Yeah.
He's now got a career, and he's now also spreading and teaching to other people, right? It's a very good success story. And so we have a lot of people that worked at Disney, at our studio. Some are working in US, some are working in Australia and in Canada. And they are like just, and they keep in touch. Like when I when I'm back in home in LA, and I go and do a presentation in San Francisco, and I let them know, hey, I'm in San Francisco for a couple of days. They'll come to my presentation and whatever, and they'll come and we catch up. Yeah. And it's so interesting to see all these people that have like just grown, It's that I think that's one of the most satisfying thing about nobody. That keeps people going. At least keeps me going.
No, and that's fantastic, and that's great, and that's one of the reasons why I invited you to share this story. How many people do you have there working now? Nepalma, there's 150 plus.
In Nepalma, 170.
Wow.
Yeah, Nepal.
Ani?
And then Indiama, 30
India so, you branched out?
So we had a project and we couldn't find the talent, and it takes a long time to develop, So we had to start hiring people. Yeah. Oily, we have started to really put a focus on expansion. Right now, we have 50 people being trained in the studio, And the thing about it is, so it's basically investing in young talent. Paila, we used to train and then grow, and then 15 janaलाई train garyo भने, you can get maybe 8 or 9. So now we're going a little aggressive and saying we just need to really grow fast, And Deepa is helping me on this thing, and she's really. So right now we have 50 people that we've been training, and we want to keep. So now, because I have her helping me, so one of the things that I'm focusing on now is on the creative side, making our own films, but also trying to create more artists in this field. So your podcast will be the first one that I'm going to announce publicly. So June, July, we are launching Incessant Rain Academy, where we are going to be, training animation artists, visual effects, graphics designs, filmmaking, and also apps development. So it's doing complete new company under Incessant Rain.
Beautiful. Incessant Rain Academy, is it going to be based out of Kathmandu itself?
Yeah,
is it going to have affiliation anywhere?
So we're starting with Kathmandu, and then eventually we want to move to different areas like Pokhara and all. And the whole idea of that is there is a supply and demand. There is a lack of artists available for the things, because you film what's changed is that the streaming has really created a lot of demand for content, right? And so there are not enough artists, not only in Nepal but all over Southeast Asia. I have friends in studios in India and Malaysia. They're asking me do you have artists that you don't need? Yeah? So my goal is to be able to produce highly skilled artists from this academy, and we will take as many as we need for our projects, but then also we will help them get placed into different studios. A lot of companies are working virtually, so we could create a lot of artists here that can be working for all over the world. And so that's one of the goals that we've done, is we want to make Nepal a hub of this thing. Because there are a lot of young talent, that is basically don't have any opportunities for jobs and they're leaving the country. And why not build that talent here and bring jobs here? That's the big next mission that we're trying to do. हाम्रो आफ्नै movie बनाउनलाई पनि चाहियो हैन. So we did a movie and we finished in the middle of COVID. It came to a point where like we had a deadline. This was a movie that we were working for Universal Studios.
Can you talk about the movie? No.
Yeah, it's already called Bubblehead. It's an animated. तर के भयो भने
Bubblehead.
Yeah, Bubblehead the film. तर के भयो भने we ran into a situation where with COVID we didn't have enough bandwidth to get the movie done, you know? So we had to outsource to India.
मान्छे नै पुगेन.
So we outsourced to do a segment to India. And then when you think about it, you reflect that. So like, why is that? Because the reason in Nepal that we have not grown in this field that fast is people are still not clear about what it is. Yeah? And part of it is my fault. Part of it is our studio's fault in the sense that we haven't really made people aware that we can do these type of things in Nepal.
Publicity
पनि भएन अनि अर्को के भयो भने and part of it that's because I set up the studio during that really rough period of time where I've run into experiences where like we had unions coming and trying to extort money, right? And so we were always like low key because all our clients are in Hollywood, so we hardly do any work here. So we stayed low key for a long time. And now we realize like we create amazing work. So we need to change that because if we can make people aware that this is a career, and I told you, the amount of money these guys make, all over the world is amazing. People think like Nepal money. People think like you got to go work in a bank, you got to be an engineer, but they say like artist bhayo भने पैसा कमाउँदैन, which is so false. Which is not true, Yes. There are artists can be tough, but there are jobs for artists. I mean, also like I'm sure Sanjay, there are two types of artists. Like you have very talented artists, and they like to work alone. They go and paint amazing paintings. Like they're like the next Picasso of Nepal. So they struggle, and then they make something, and then But then there are a lot of artists who are basically really good, and they work in a team. Want to go and create something. And this is the stuff I tell people, like, you can always create your own art on your own time. Like you spend a lot of time reading about space and science. You can always create that, but when you pull together a group of research of artists, you don't know what you're going to create.
Yeah.
Like some of the things that we're creating, like I show it to my team in the US and like, this was done in Incessant Rain, It's amazing.
Yeah. Pull up the mandala. Can we show that?
Yeah.
Mandala. Pull that up. I want to show this to everybody. When was it created?
So mandala is a piece. This was we finished in 2019, right? And then we sent it out to festivals and won awards. Mandala is our idea of experimental piece.
Can I show the whole thing?
Yeah. It's our stuff, and and the music here was created by
music pani hala tama.
Yeah, it's very. I wanted to create something where we show art and music from this part of the world.
Music.
यो चाहिँ नि Cobweb को Divis Mormile गरेको.
Music किन आइरहेछ?
And he won an award. He won one of the best scoring awards in one of the festivals.
Why can't I hear it? Yeah.
Interestingly, these two characters are the only deities that's both Hindus and Buddhists recognize. Kala Chakra and Viswamatra.
I saw it at your office and I was blown away. Beautiful. How many people worked on this?
So quite a lot of people.
Sound off, how many people?
I can't even increase. So the way this project started was we said, okay, I want to do something. This is something that I had taught.
Yeah.
Even when I was at Disney, I love the Fantasia pieces that Disney did, and these shorts don't make money. They're more like experimental to. So I wanted to do this even when I was at Disney, and then when I came here, I said,
play it without the sound.
Manna like concept of from nothing to something to nothing, garne. So a few years back, I put this project in process, and I said when people are between projects downtown in Mansani, त्यसै बस्नु
के गरौँ.
So that's how it moved. And then 2019 is when we. So yeah, there are lots of people that worked on it over a period of time.
No, it is really beautiful. I'll put a link of this on the description so that everybody can go ahead and watch it. Now, I quickly want to go ahead and ask you about the Academy. So, Academy, kaile start huncha June, July. At least
yeah, that's the.
You've already made up your mind. June, July. Where is it going to be? If you can mention that.
So we are looking for a place. It's not going to be like where we're located. It's going to be completely, where it's very accessible to people. So like places where like a lot of the institutes are, like maybe my place that I'm thinking that in Patanma Kumari Pati area is a great, also like what's the place behind Darbar Marga, like Jamal and all. So yeah, the places like, so we're looking for those places, and I think it's going to be very amazing because the stuff that we're doing is going to be taught by professionals. It'll be very focused, right? And the goal is that after you finish the program, you can go to any studio and start a career.
Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world. That's our goal. And we can do it.
Have long is it going to be? Have you curriculum?
Yeah, we've developed. So some curriculums are going to be a year. Some curriculums will be 6 months. Some curriculums will be like 4 months. In the software developing, like to be able to teach them how to program in Python and all. So what we're doing is, you don't need to. There are people who would go to 4-year college and do all the things, but this should be more focused on, so that when you get that thing, you can actually start developing. So, for example, like in the apps, they would be taught to do it, and then part of the project, they will develop apps before they graduate, right? And then we then encourage them to also keep taking classes. We signed an MOU with KU a couple of years ago, and we started teaching some of their students for free animation, right? And the idea was that there would be an animation degree in KU. So we're talking to them now that we're setting up Academy. And I truly believe that, and you probably know this too, like we have a disconnect between companies and academia. In the US, like when I was going to college, I was also working, So here, the way the structure is like, you go to college, you can't work, type of thing, right? Or if you go to work, go to college, you go early in the morning, and so we need to work with all these colleges and all, and say like, look, if somebody wants to get a 4-year degree and can be working, and the work that they're doing is related to what they should be able to take some of those credits, right? Be able to carry those credits. So we need to bring that, because if you look at it now, I think you probably realize too, when you hire somebody, they have a great degree, but no exposure to work.
Zero experience.
Zero experience.
We have to explain. Start from scratch.
Very, start from scratch. And so a lot of companies end up like saying like, we don't want to take people from scratch because we're gonna train them for 3 years and then they jump. So they're always looking with experiences, right? And I think that's, again, not good, because you want to be, if somebody goes to college, they should be able to get jobs right away, a well-paid job. And I think that's the thing that we need to do, is how do you combine education or training and all directly with colleges and jobs?
No, I completely get you. For me personally, I do not look at the amount of education that they've had. I look at the experience that they've had, because at the end of the day, it is the experience that really counts. For me personally.
I mean for us too. You are judged by what you can produce. right?
Simple as that.
In our studio, like, you know, you could get a PhD in computer animation, but if you can't like create something, that means like you need to start from ground zero. You
need to start from scratch. Can you tell everybody about the new movies that you're working on?
Oh, okay. So
कतिसम्म भन्न मिल्छ त्यतिसम्म भनौँ न.
So we are like, you know, we the transition that we do, we start with animation. 2 years into, we start doing visual effects. Then we start making some documentaries and shorts. Now we're starting to develop our own films, right? Because we don't want to be just working for other studios. Because right from the beginning, my goal was to create amazing stories from this part of the world and take it to the rest of the world, right?
Yeah.
And people don't take that seriously because they go like, Nepal, what a ke bhancha, okay? But we have such amazing stories here. Culture, art, and all that stuff that, you know, when you were small and things that the people out there don't even understand.
Yeah.
But then you see them trying to capitalize on it, right? You see a movie like Doctor Strange, they come here for 2 weeks and shoot, and they capture that Doctor Strange, you know, spiritual journey into that little magic world. But they all, you know, people think about this place like that. So the last year and a half, we are now completely focusing, and that's why, you know, my co-owner Deepa is now helping me as a co-CEO, where she's gonna run the company in terms of finance and training. Now I get to develop films and make films. So there are 2 projects that we're doing.
Before we jump into this, I met her and she's really amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I just wanted to say that to you.
She's a great partner in terms of everything. We think alike.
Yeah.
You know, we just really great partner.
No, I met her and again, amazing. She's amazing.
And what a relief in the last, you know, she just about, it's been 5 months. What a relief it has been for me, because now I don't have to worry about everything, right? I can focus on
the creative
things.
aspect.
So my next journey is going to be, I'm telling you something, I'm so excited about my next journey, because now the things that I can, you know, follow.
Let's tell everybody.
So we want to start not only making animated films, but even live action. So one of the first films we're doing is called Frostbite. We can put a poster there.
Yeah.
So Frostbite is a story that is basically, it's a collaboration between a company called Electric Brain. The writer of, the owner of Electric Brain, one of the owners is called Jack Stens. I brought Jack here in 2020 for a week for Nepal International Film Festival in the panel. And he's the writer for X-Men, Thor, and all. You know,
writer for X-Men and Thor.
So he's an X-Men writer, Thor, all these superheroes, right? So I had brought him, and he just fell in love with this place. And we had talked about. I told Jack, I said like. I told Jack, I said like, Jack, you know, there's so much stuff in this place, you know.
Yeah.
And took him to all these corners of Kathmandu and all. And then, you know, we'd meet and we go back and we'd meet and, you know, we'd go hiking together. Then 3 months later, he called me up and said, I just emailed you a script. Take a look at that, and I would like to collaborate with you and help you, and you can help me produce it. And so that's Frostbite.
So this is a full-fledged
live action film.
Live action movie.
Yeah. It's
not animation.
No.
It's a total complete movie.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it is based here, right? It's about for a billionaire like Elon Musk and his 3 friends coming to Nepal. And they've done something, you know, in short, they've done something bad 3 years before that when they came climbing Mount Everest. And then, you know, they end up at Dwarika's, a hotel like Dwarika's, and things start happening.
Is it
bad shit? It's a thriller.
Total live action thriller.
Yeah. And 95% of it would be all shot here with Nepalese actors. I can't tell the name. Yeah. Nepalese actors and some Indian actors, and you know, and foreign, and so it's going to be a global thing, and it's so interesting because this is again one of those things where the story is based here, and the film will be made here, right? So and then it's for the international. So that's one of the things that we're going to be shooting this year.
When is it going to be shot? The summer?
So we were supposed to shoot this in February, this last month. And so we had made all these preparations and everything, and then the Omicron happened. And our biggest challenge has been to get the American actors to come here for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
There's a fear, yeah? Let it settle once, because it's not like they go for a week and come back, and they're coming to all the way here. So we're still working on that. Hopefully in the next couple of months, we can think. But we do need to shoot it fast because we want to get it shot before the monsoon and all that stuff. Otherwise, then we have to wait till fall.
Yeah.
So that's one, and then.
So this is going to be a full-fledged cinema, not Netflix, or is it going to be, or can you reveal that? Can you see?
No. So the distribution of this is like something very different. So we haven't. So this is actually not a movie that is being financed by Netflix and all, right? Because you're financed by Netflix. This is what we call independent financing. We have independent investors investing in this thing. So it is like what Nimdai did. Make it. Whoever buys it pays the most money, and wherever the platform is the best.
Yeah, fair enough.
So our plan initially is to have a limited theater screening, and then take it to streaming. Yeah.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, so the other one you can put the teaser is called Yetiman. That is my own story that I'm directing. This is something that has been a passion for me for many years. We hear about Marvel superheroes and all. Nepal, and not only Nepal, like even Southeast Asia. Japan has some superheroes like Astro Boy and all. There's a lack of that, and we have all these things. I showed you. You're saying so Yetiman got language, right? So we actually develop language and text and all these things. So your film, what we've done is lots of concept arts. We have a script, great writer from Hollywood, and then the producer that advertised is Academy nominated, So, and the whole ecosystem we develop, and language is one of them.
Your Yetiman ko language,
Yeti's arko
language.
And it's so interesting because that's what's so interesting about this place is all we did was take Tamang and Tibetan and fused it and came up with these languages, right? So if you the silver nung ning ning, if you go to the last page, these are numbers, but if you go to the last page, let's say,
last page, go right at the end.
End page, man.
End page.
So phrases, man. So if I have to say, what's your name? I go Nimzo Mat Omje, right? And you'll say Jimjo Mat, Sanjay. And I say Nimjo Aktang Omje, and you'll say Jimjo Aktang 34 or whatever. So we've developed all these things, and the movie obviously going to be in English, but there are times where they talk
in their own language.
And then
Do we have a logo? What else do we have from Yetiman? Oh, we can't show that.
I sent you a poster. I don't know if you have that.
Do we have a poster of Yetiman?
Or you go to.
The latest one. The latest one that you sent. Let's see if I can pull it out from on air and wait. Let me try to. Okay, let me just send it to you. Check this out and put this up. Oh man, I'm so excited to show this to everybody. I'm so glad you sent this to us. You see, if we could send this, if we could show this to everybody or not.
I showed you a teaser.
Which
so I can't show the teaser now. So this is
we can't show it to everybody.
But I thought okay, post.
How long do you think it's gonna take before we can show other things to people? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I can start sharing stuff as we probably, but the movie is going to take some time.
Zoom in, buddy.
But here's the thing: is this is a story about a Yeti boy. His name is Kaji, and he comes from a Shambhala. You saw the world, which is the ultra verse. It's completely made up Shambhala, but he thinks he's a human because he's been brought up by the humans. And when he finds his world, the world that there's a disconnect between the humans and the Yeti world, and ultimately he's the savior that brings the boat. You know, the story
concept camera. How did you think of the concept of Yetiman?
So the story is it's part of something that I experienced in my way. When I went from here to the U.S., you know, I was never accepted because of my color and all. You know, and when I come back here, I'm not completely still accepted. They still say you're an American. You live in America. When you look at it, and I have experiences like when I was working at Disney and I went to a store in Rodeo Drive to buy a gift for my daughter. The lady out there, right at the door, said, "There's nothing for you." Racism, and right now, all over the world, in the U.S., racism is big, just because of your skin color, because of your sexuality, just because you may stammer, you know. It's crazy. And so this story kind of reflects that, because this boy, you know, who has superpower, but he doesn't know that he has superpower. He's a Yeti boy that was found up in the mountains, and then, you know, in my world, the Yeti babies are like humans. Like, they just have long feet, but no hair, or the hair started growing there. So for him, he's a human, but then all the villagers, like, as he grows up and he starts looking different, they reject him, right? He's completely, you know, his friends are animals, you know, he can communicate. But the villagers bully him all the time and he's rejected. And then when he finds his world and they say that they know that he's a Yeti, they still reject him just because he was brought up in a human world and he's not pure, according to them. So it's a struggle, you know, of his thing that he has to find who he is, and at the end, you know, he brings both worlds together by fighting the common darkness, you know. And this is like, it's character driven. If you look at the thing, everybody can feel it. Everybody has some sort of, you know, some differences, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And so the message is like, everyone is a hero. Everyone is a special, you know, right? You know, you're just if you the fact that you are different and you can do something different means you are special, and that's the message I want to, you know, give through this story to the rest of the world. It's like, so what if you're gay? You know, it's who you are inside. So what if you can speak properly? You know. Don't judge by your color, your sexuality, your voice, you know, just because you're a woman, you know. So that's a story. And then, you know, unfortunately at this time I can't share the teaser, but you saw it's very different.
It is very different, and let me tell everybody that I saw it, and again, it's amazing. So people should look forward to Yetiman.
Yep.
I know. I wish I could tell everybody what other superhero characters you have. Yeah. I know, trust me, everybody, there's so many different characters that एउटा त मेरो favorite हो. I wish I could tell people, but I can't. होइन एउटा त मेरो त एकदमै त्यो निम्स दाइले भने जस्तो छ कि होइन, giving up is not in the blood, son. भने जस्तो होइन, एउटा character छ which is so crazy, which someday I hope त्यो character पनि, that character also comes to light. होइन, there are other characters that I really love. होइन, that
we've created 5 other superheroes that is all based here.
Yeah.
That, you know, that we can create our own version of Nepal Marvel.
If I could really say it to people, it's so crazy. 2 of them are like my favorite already. I know that.
Maybe soon. Next time.
Down the road. Yetiman, when do you think it's gonna be in development?
So we are in development now. So the production probably wouldn't start till the end of it. So right now the teaser, building the you know, we got all the design, building them, what we call asset creation, you know, building the models and all that stuff is going on. And that's another reason why we need to train and recruit in our. It's a very complex movie.
Yeah. I saw a gist of it. Frostbite, when do you think it's gonna be done and it's gonna come out?
Frostbite, because live action has a very, you know, it can be done very fast. So hopefully by before the end of the fall, we'll have it completed, you know.
And then most probably 2023, 2024, it's going to come
definitely
out.
Be released for 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Man, I'm super excited. What else are you planning that you haven't told me?
Stories are amazing. I just think there's a lot of stories. You know, one of the things that I'm also trying to do now with the new role is to be able to collaborate and partner with, you know, local filmmakers, the amazing filmmakers here. And I think I can, you know, with my network in the US and all, I can like take it to the next level. Even in the Yeti, I'm trying to keep it authentic.
Yeah.
The music, I think I showed you a little bit of, we're using Nepalese musicians to do the music and scoring. So it's like anything, like, you know, from cameramen to writers to musicians to all, you know, like just be able to like take it to the next level. So I'm actually, you know, meeting new artists and you know, hearing their stories and figuring out, like, you know, how we can help them and all.
Yeah. From the Disney man, you're going to turn into a Yetiman.
You know, people call me Disney man. And,
people call you the Disney man.
And then I go like, wait a minute, I don't want to be Disney man anymore. It's been 15 years since I left Disney.
No, that's how I know you back in the day. Hey, you know, he's the Disney man. We got to go see his studio. And I was like, oh, okay, Disney man, huh? So that's why I just called you that as well. No, I'm super excited. And the academy is going to start rolling in June, July. Right? Hopefully the academy is going to start rolling in June, July. And a lot of young friends, you know, Hamro listener base is very young. Yeah. And I definitely want people to get into animation, people to get into, you know, when it comes to spending time, why don't spend time being creative? Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, if I may, like, you know, people think of animation as cartoon. Yeah. It's only films and TV, but like if you really look at animation, it's everywhere now. NFTs, metaverse. You know, with people, the future in metaverse. You know, if you can think and design stuff, you can create amazing worlds now.
Let me also add that you can be millionaire by doing that too.
There's a lot of money to be made.
Crazy money to be made, right? There you go, everybody. You should definitely go ahead and do that. Is there anything that we missed out today?
I will mention one thing. You know, I have a cousin in town here. I'm talking about Nepalese success story. Since he's younger than me, it's Deepa's brother. Yeah. He came to the US just like me, went to school. He went to actually the same college as I did, right? Mm-hmm. His name is Paras Chitrakar. And he basically... this is something for all the youths, okay, that you can dream and really succeed. And he basically, you know, worked in all kinds of places and put him to college and all. And then when he graduated, his company, the company that he founded called Dave.com, got the first company of a Nepali to be listed in NASDAQ.
What is it called?
This was in January of this year.
DAVE,
Dave.com.
Find that, huh?
When it got listed, it was $4 billion value.
What? Yeah. What does it do?
It's a fintech company.
Yeah. Dave.com.
Dave.com. Isn't that amazing? So I feel when I've known him, you know, for a long time.
Banking for humans.
Yeah. If you go to
about,
you know,
go to about founding story.
Yeah.
I know, hold on. Dude, just relax. Go up. Go right at the top. Go right at the top.
There should be a place, unless it's changed.
Right at the top. Okay. What's his name again? Paras Chitrakar.
Go down like you might, you.
अझ तल जाऊ त तल अझ तल.
Team Dave. There you go. Hold on. The middle guy, right?
Oh, Paras Chitrakar. Yeah. Oh, nice. Nepali guy.
Isn't that amazing?
It's fantastic.
So you said this because, like you said, you could be a millionaire. You could be a millionaire in anything if you just really. This kid, I shouldn't call him kid. He's like, you know, in his mid-30s, but he started like from ground zero. Went to college, worked himself, eating noodles while, you know, chow chow when he's going to college, and look at him now.
Fantastic.
First Nepali whose company went public in NASDAQ. Whoa. Not many people know that.
I'd love to have him over.
No, he's actually in town right now.
There you go, man. Yeah. We got our next guest.
Yeah, and he's very down to earth. But I'm the guy who's like bragging about him.
Don't worry, we're bragging about you because the amount of work that you've put in, the amount of work that you've put in to make sure that things can change. When you came in and you started it, and now you're starting Academy. No, seriously, it's a brilliant thing, and it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Trust me, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. And now with all the time that you have, which I know, and a lot of creative things are going to come that is going to put Nepal on the map some more.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Some more.
Let's follow Nimdai.
Exactly. Let's follow Nimdai, and giving up is definitely not in the blood, son.
Definitely.
Thank you very much for your time, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. See ya.
Woo! If you love what we are doing, make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications. This program is brought to you by Vyas Studios.